beautiful dancer, and welcome to this new appointment with our weekly A Cup of Tea, which is a soulful conversation about creative fusion belly dance. I'm Lania Barbara, your host, and today I have a very special guest, which is Nivetha Shree. Nivetha is a dancer from India. She's a tribal fusion or fusion belly dance dancer, teacher, choreographer, and also recently she has become one of the first FCBD, also known as ATS Style teacher, so sister studio in India. So Nivetha and I have we met in 2016 when she invited me in India, and I've seen her blooming and shining so much through all these years. She's now an international teacher and she's an awesome, awesome dancer. So I'm very excited to bring this interview to you. We talk about her journey in dance, how she met fusion belly dance, and what she thinks are the main key elements, how to recognize and what are the key elements of fusion belly dance. And she also shares with us one beautiful idea of how a style that connects with a culture can bloom into something else. And she is experiencing this with Fachan's Bellydance style in India. And she has a beautiful suggestion at the end for the whole community of dancers. So I hope you will enjoy this interview, and thank you for being here. Thank you so much for being here, Nivetha. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. I'm super excited for this. Yeah.
I'm so glad we're meeting again after we were just realizing before putting the regular on, it has been almost 10 years. We didn't see each other, so a lot of things happened. And
Like a
as I said
decade.
before, yeah, it's a decade. So it's like, wow, it feels like a lifetime. And last time we met in India, and then everything happened, and we're here. And I'm so glad we're having this conversation together because, as I said before, I want to say that again. I want to celebrate you shining. I see you're walking the path, and I really want to celebrate that and to connect with you more and know more about you and your story and your life as a dancer. And if you would love to share more about you and your personality and your suggestions and ideas. So, the first question is going to be actually the very start of your beginning of your journey in dance. Is the first question I always ask my guests is how dance happened in your life, and specifically belly dance.
Okay. Thank you so much, first of all, for having me here. Life comes full circle. It's been a decade since we met, and here I am sitting and talking about my journey with you. This feels well rounded for me, and also inspires me to do more. It's like a boost in the path that I'm walking. So thank you for having me. Coming to the question. Uh, so dance, as you knew, my dad was a dancer. Dance was a part of life for a very long time, but not belly dance. Uh, belly dance began when I was 21 years old. When one of the days I was just going through a lot of dance videos on YouTube, and boom comes this tribal fusion belly dance video by Rustica. They had a trio back then, and they were uh, they had posted it very recently, and I was like, "Oh, this looks interesting. Let's watch what's the whole deal," because it looked very mystic, uh, sprinkle of gothic, and it had some crazy dubstep music. I was like, "Wait, what is this?" And after I watched it, I was like, "That's it. This is what I want to do. This is how I want to move." And everything changed. Um, it's like me before watching that video and me after that. And the next thing I know, I sat there for good 5 hours going through all of their videos, and then going through all of the dances that YouTube was recommending me. And I knew I was glued to this. Like, I would not be able to think about anything else for the next coming days, but only what I saw in the frame. And that's how the journey started. And I started looking for dance classes, belly dance classes in Bangalore. Back then, a Lebanon dancer was teaching belly dance here. And I enrolled into her classes and I started doing my basics. And then I was asking her, do you teach tribal fusion? There's something called Fusion Bellydance. Do you know about it? And then she spoke about Jamila Salampur, Sohela Salampur. And she introduced me those names. And I was like, who are these people? I mean, coming from India and getting introduced to belly dance, it's like exploring a new world altogether, because we are mostly working on the classical forms, or sometimes mostly Western, which are, available on TV and all of that. But belly dance was very niche, especially this was back in 2012, I'm talking about. And then I went through all of their pages, read some blog posts, and getting to know all of that, I realized I need to train more. And that's how further training, mostly online, happened. And then I had Bindu Polar as one of the teachers who was teaching in Bangalore back then. I went to her classes. I started picking up some lessons from her. And then Datura was a big source back then as well. And the journey has been ongoing, and I'm still learning from all the dances across. And I happened to see your video also during this course. I was like, I should host it in India. Nobody knows about this form. I should make everyone fall in love with this. And I think that's how I invited you in 2016. And oh God, it's been filled with life started revolving around this. Um, what a beautiful journey. Thanks for helping me go through this. Yes, that's
Yeah,
the long story
but
short.
I love what you said, that there was a me before and a me after. I can resonate so much with what you said. And for me, it was very similar. I was just going through videos, and then one video popped up. For me, it was Samantha Manuel, and I was like, this is what I want. Obsession. So, and the more I interview other dancers from our community, the more I see our stories are very similar. There is this moment in time, it might be through internet or it might be during a show, where you just, there is like, boom, a fulguration, I don't know, like a thunderbolt inside. I want this. And you can go back. That's it. It's forever.
Absolutely. I agree. I agree. And she was also one of the dancers who inspired me a lot. Samantha Emanuel. I miss watching her dance now, but I'm sure whatever she's left behind us with in terms of the videos, I still go back to them if I need some boost in
Definitely.
my creations. Yes.
Yeah, I still remember her Maya. She was doing like ta 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 and tarra. It's still in my head. It's like her, for me, it's one of her signature movements. I don't know, Samantha, if you're watching this. For me, one of your signature movements is this beautiful Maya, like stopping Mayas. Oh, so beautiful. So like drooling over the keyboard. Anyways, coming back.
Yes.
Yeah, and a huge shout out to Rustica girls, which are amazing, amazing. So thank you for inspiring me, Vita, to begin this journey. Yeah, and I love that you started actually with fusion, because a lot of us started with belly dance before, and then at some point they come in contact with fusion. But you started
Yes.
directly watching fusion first, and then go back into belly dance, but then still had this fusion thing in your head. So, would you like to share what made you, if you can identify that? It's not easy. It's like falling in love. How can you say why you fall in love? I don't know. I just felt it. But if you can identify that rationally, what made you fall in love with this specific style, and if you can identify what are the features or maybe one key feature you can grab from this style.
Absolutely, yes. In the initial years, I used to struggle to answer this question to myself. But over these years, I think I have been able to find out 2 or 3 key aspects that are gluing me to this form. The first one is I'm a very musically driven dancer. For me, I dance because I love music. And for me, dance is my only way to express how I feel about that music. So I'm very musically driven dancer. And that was the first key element that caught my attention when I opened the video and I started watching a few seconds, right? It was the music. Uh, it was fresh and new. I'm also very inclined to hip hop music. And this take on the hip hop, like whether it can be dubstep or trance, was very fresh and it made me very curious. And I kind of connected to that music. So I was like, boom, that's one. Second was the aesthetics. So when I say aesthetics, I mean um, how they costume to show the strength inside, right? Like, I love showcasing strength in dance. It's like I love it. It just makes me feel full, like expressful,
Totally.
like you can see when I'm saying it, right? And when I could see that come through the costume and the jewelry and even the movement, I was like, this is it. Like, this is what I've been lacking to express all my life. And when I have a movement that helps me channel all of this and it helps me express, it, it's just in like that boom, that connect. So these 2 key aspects um, caught my attention and has kept me glued, and it's still making me understand its nuances all the more years I'm going into dance, the more years I'm dancing, the more I'm understanding the nuances and the intricacies of these aspects and how it's connected to life. Like, we all have grown a certain way, have had a certain lifestyle. When this platform of expression comes and that has been dormant in your life and suddenly takes the forefront in expressing, it changes your personality, it changes your lifestyle. Um, it is very intertwining. I'm amazed how everything is intertwined, interconnected, and yeah, I would come back to the key aspects. I would highlight these 2 key aspects for me as a dancer to having um, had a connect with, and also I want to keep working on this and just I want to dig deep in and see what's in it. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. I totally see those like one of the 2 main pillars that might be recognized for fusion, this big umbrella term, what has been called tribal fusion, now we call this fusion, but definitely the musicality is there, and music, specific like music choices, and it changes, of course, between all of us because we all express ourselves so differently, and that's also one of the beautiful things about this style. But music, it's such a music-driven style, so it's so
Yes.
essential. It's so essential. And then also what you said about the power and the strength that you feel in the body, I can relate so much with that. Like I'm like, yes, I love it. And I think also this is like one of the main, like let's say the heritage that we get from ADS, the trans belly dance style, is really
Yes.
this strong posture of the body. And it's like, I don't give a while I dance,
Exactly.
and I'm just so full of my power. Boom. And this like gives me goosebumps every time I see that. Just watching a dancer just, doing a very simple stuff, just a simple florero with her arms and boom. And for me, I'm like arrows
Absolutely.
in my heart.
And to add to that, it's very feminine, sensual, subtle strength showcasing. It's not like I've arrived, watch me, like I'm the strongest. No, it's like I am in my element, but I'm still the strongest. It's like it's telling me stories of
Yeah.
so many women out there who just go about life and still showcase strength. And when you reflect that and put it out in a dance form, I think, like you said rightly, ATS or FCBD kind of set a foundation for what was coming ahead. And I'm ever grateful for that to happen. Yes.
Yeah, this mood, like
Yes.
of as you said, like subtle strength, which is not okay. I am so like a diva. It's more like I am so much enjoying my own power,
Yes.
and FCBD. It's also so beautiful because I'm like eating my words. It's so beautiful because you have that strength with the group. So it's not only me as a solo. It's actually this shared strength. So it's like per 100, like multiplied.
Absolutely.
So beautiful. And
I
I just saw you became my FCBD teacher. So
Yes. Finally, it was long due. I was planning this from the pandemic. Somehow it kept delaying, and it had to happen at the time it had to happen. And I'm very glad I got introduced to the community. Um, I think I fell in love all the more after um, getting introduced to this community. I felt like I belonged, like I've come home. You know that feeling?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
fulfilling. Yes.
So beautiful. And so beautiful you're bringing this in India because I don't know there how many are there any Pachans Bellydance other teachers in India? You're the first one, right? So big shout out to you to bring this new this new style. So beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I hope I do more in the country that I am. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the journey ahead. Yes.
Yes, this embodiment of power as when you like it's like the shape, the outer shape that shapes your inner shape, your inner landscape, like just doing the movement and then inside you feel like, oh yes, I find this strength inside of me. I didn't know I have it. So it's like a service for all of us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. To add to what you were saying, coming from the culture here in India, and to add FCBD from the movement perspective, it's giving me a different feel to it altogether. Yes. I myself am amazed because after I finished and I knew I had to come back and I was working with a group of dancers with my students. Um, the way it's emerging is completely different from what I've seen in other places. Yeah. Uh, I don't know how to say this. My words, I'm not able to, word it or put it in a statement because culturally we're rooted in a certain aspect, right? And FCBD is helping pull that out and showcase it through FCBD. So it's giving a flavor of its own, even though we're dancing FCBD. And I'm really excited to put that out either through video or through performances. Um, yeah, it's beautiful. Like it's like you're adding uh, more beauty to the already beautiful, thing out there. It's blowing my mind. I'm really excited, like I said, for the journey ahead. Yeah.
Wow, so beautiful. It's like to see that one set of movements and one style, one mood that can apply to a different culture might bloom into
Yes.
something on its own, right? And wow, this is so cool. So I'm excited. I want to see more of you and your community dancing FCBDs or anything
Soon,
else.
soon.
And talking about you as a dancer, as a teacher, and also as a choreographer, what is my next question? If you could share with us, what is your source of inspiration when you want to create performances or costumes or group performances or improvisation? If you have something you refer to grab that inspiration.
Um, I mean, I I gave it a good thought as to because you don't think about it, sit and think about it, as a bigger picture. You always have a very close-knit uh, thought or close-knit view about it. But to see it from the bird's eye view, uh, it's about firstly, what is the theme that you want to work with? For me, I first set the theme. Okay, some pieces I want to actually showcase um, very calm peace, and I want to give it a very subtle nuance. And some pieces I want to really go all out and show, okay, no, this is what. Um, so it's majorly influenced by how I feel at the time when I'm choreographing or when I'm creating that piece. It can be solo or do it or when I'm working with a group of uh, my troupe or my company. But mostly the theme is about um, what feeling I want to express through this piece. So for me, that's a solid place I start from, right? Because without that, I tend to get distracted with either the music or the dancers that I'm working with, or I've done that too, and it's not very the output is not great, right? So for me, I set the theme in terms of what is the feeling I express firstly, and then I look for a piece of music that really helps me accentuate or helps me express that better. And then I work with further additional stuff. So for me, it's about um, what is the feeling that I want to express with. And talking about um, costume inspiration or music inspiration, definitely it's also coming from my fellow dancers and so much of uh, work has happened, especially post pandemic. So much of video output has happened for Fusion Bellydance, and there's so much to watch from each of the dancers, even if they're so new to the form, right? So definitely influenced from them. And sometimes I avoid watching some of the dancers work because I get majorly influenced and I tend to start moving like them, right? It happens. Like we are visually very, I feel very sensitive.
Definitely, I can, yeah.
Yeah. And uh, so it's a big give and take visually, give and take through YouTube videos, through each of their work on Instagram, a small post, their practice videos, all of that. For me, movement wise, that is a big inspiration because I think a lot of them have opened different pathways in fusion belly dance for us to move beyond hip work and beyond arm work. So that's one. And recently I have to also say one of my inspirations has been me collaborating with this team in Kerala where they bring Kalari Payattu and Mohiniyattam, they fuse it and they tell beautiful stories. Um,
Oh my
so
God.
yes. I know,
So
right?
beautiful. I'm just imagining it. So beautiful.
Exactly. So I've been keenly watching their work. I've been following them like a hawk on all platforms. So that's been also influencing my work of late. So when I see two classical forms fused in India, or two very strong forms fused, uh, that gives me an inspiration to further explore a lot of aspects, especially storytelling. Because after a point, I felt like um, I need to tell stories. Like I need to do more than just dancing. I mean, of course, it's great to dance and move. Nritya is great. Nritya is just the dancing. With the expression and with telling the story, it 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 gives you an unexplained, complete content feeling, right? So that aspect is also something I'm trying to explore, and when I hear stories, I'm thinking of how would I put this in the movement that I have already learned through FCBD, even, right? Or through tribal fusion. So these are all my inspirations, inputs, and they drive me like left, right, center. Like it's beautiful.
Okay. Can you share the name of this troupe that you mentioned about from Kerala?
Absolute. Sorry. Yes, absolutely. They're called Tudippu, right? It's a Tudippu Foundation. And
Okay. Maybe you will write
Anjali,
me down and I will.
yes, 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 definitely. And Anjali is leading the whole troupe. So she is the mastermind behind bringing together a lot of pieces. And just recently, I watched their show live in Bangalore, and all throughout 1 hour, I was just crying.
Oh my
I
God.
was literally like I was pouring down tears and watching them. I'm like, please don't cry. I have to watch them clearly. I'm like, just stop crying.
Like you needed.
Absolutely. So yes, definitely, I'll share their work. It'll be lovely for all of the people who are watching this also to see it and get inspired. Definitely.
Definitely, yes. You will send me the video. I will link it in the notes of the episode. I want to see that. So definitely, I will look for that. And that's so beautiful to get in contact with other realities, not only within our sometimes we get like stuck in our umbrella because it's so
Yes.
huge and so wide, but it's still an umbrella, right? And it's so beautiful when you just open the door and see that
Yes.
even more realities are doing the same. They're creating these hybrid textures and hybrid, fusion styles. They're just
Yes.
trying to get outside of borders and touch each other and see that space where two things touch and what happens there, right? So that's also so beautiful to experience, and thank you for sharing this. It would be a lot of inspiration
Absolutely.
for everyone.
Thank you. And I have to give a shout out to you for bringing Bharatanatyam all the way from here to the place that you are in. And I, I'm really amazed how you have been, it's hard to keep up with the practice, with all of the learnings, and you've kept uh, so much of your rooting in the form and still exploring. And I'm like, this is beautiful. Uh, I,
Thank you.
I
Thank you so much.
I get it. You're welcome.
Yeah, what I um, what I tell my students sometimes is that really for me fusion is you, like is what you are, what you get in touch with, and also what do you want to say, because as you said, right, at some point you feel like you want to say something, you have something inside of you, you want to express it, and it can be through storytelling, it can be through abstract dance, but definitely there is something you want to say. And dance is your media, dance is your vehicle. And for me, it like fusion is just when I allow my body to move with all the languages and all the um, the movements that I got in contact with. And as you said, there is this huge, let's say, inspiration mechanism that happens when I see a dancer and I see her or him too much. I like my mirror neurons work so hard, and then I feel it in my body. I'm like, whoa, it's inside of me.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah, and it's so beautiful. It's such a beautiful mechanism that happens. So let's recognize that too. Um, yeah. So thank you for sharing all of that, and also for saying that your main source of inspiration is the idea, like from the idea out. And it's such a beautiful journey. There are other dancers which prefer to go from the music to the idea. So it's so beautiful to see that we are so different, right? And we have our own
Absolutely.
modus operandi.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's like, I think the journey is all about, I feel, whichever way, however, permutation combination is slowly getting into the details and details and details. And it's like, I think that's where it gets us to, no matter where we start from, you can go inside out, outside in. Um, and to have Fusion Belly Dance as a path, I feel blessed. Yeah. Yes. I
Yeah,
know what you
yeah.
mean.
Yeah, so moving on to the next question.
Yes.
It's actually from this that we are telling, that we are talking about. If you see ahead, if you have like a vision of what it's ahead for the community and for the dance form, what would you envision? And what would be from this vision your suggestion, if you have any, for the community of dancers or the teachers?
Um, I mean, coming from the space that I am in, from the country that I am in right now, um, I think after a certain point of time, maybe after my 10th year or 9th year of dancing, uh, I felt very full, and I felt like I should give back. Um, you know, maybe until then I was always taking, like taking and taking and taking and taking it in, and then suddenly when I realized I'm blessed, I feel so grateful for having had so much. I want to give back, right? Um, a lot of things changed. The way I navigated around my classes, around my performances, my true, all of that, right? So right now, if you ask me, I'm in the space of, in my country, how do I give back, uh, or how do I propagate this, and how do I make everyone see the beauty that this beautiful form has? And I was just having this conversation with Bindu, I think 3 months ago, and it culminated into us doing tribal revival in the coming February, and we wanted to name it Tribal Revival because we felt like it's time for the revival. Um, so yeah, so I'm in this right now in my life. I'm in the space of how do I give back, because I've taken so much, and I'm filled. I'm really happy with how much this has given to me in my life. And I'm finding pathways to see where I can do a lot more in terms of classes, performances, and all of that. And also, I feel as a community in Bangalore or in India, we are already really exploring a lot of uh, things. Even my peers, I'm really proud of them. Like, for example, it can be Bindu Bolar, Devapriya Das, Akriti Prasad, and, you know, uh, to even speak of Akriti Gandhi ahead, they all have paved the way, and they have explored different tangents, um, which has made me, or even dancers who are going to come ahead, flourish all the more in this. Sometimes I can even think I'm in a space where I can think of, yes, I can take this up full time and, do this full time. So it's such a beautiful growth over these last few years. It's just been the last few years, actually. The curve has really hit it off high. So that's in my country. But thanks to all the festivals that have happened in the last couple of years, where I've had the opportunity to go and be part of, the global community is equally beautiful. Um, because I had this apprehension about coming from the space that I am, will I be received, or how is it going to be? Is it going to be weird? Oh no, it was like home, second home, come in. So
Yeah.
the global community is beautiful, like absolutely beautiful and embracing. Um, I I mean, if it's not like I can give any input as to this can be done and this cannot be done, I will come to that part as well. It's already doing a brilliant job because recovering from pandemic and putting across so much is not easy. And I think a lot of organizers out there are still trying to bring together dancers through festivals, through community work. And a big shout out also to the FCBD community because last year when I was part of it, we came together from I think 53 different places, different locations, um, and it felt like we were living in one big home. No one felt out of place. Each one of us, I know, we felt belonged, and that's beautiful for us women to come together and feel. And apart from that, even in terms of moving, it felt like home, like it felt like homecoming. Something was grounding and beautiful, right? So I wish more of these happened. I really, really wish more of these happened. And I want to bring this taste or give this taste to my fellow dancers as well. And that's why this year I urged all of my students to travel with me. So I'm taking them all to, yes, I'm taking them all to some of the festivals that's happening in 2025 because it's beautiful,
Wow.
yes, to experience. And so that's happening. And I also want to bring a lot of dancers back to India and share their art form here. So I'm also looking for platforms or, I'm finding paths to make that happen, to make that feasible. So this is, I think it's already doing a great job, especially in the last 2 years, the way it's been ramping up in terms of the community work. It's great. Um, Actually, there's so much more to catch up with. I feel I'm like, oh wait, this dancer is offering this dancer is offering. How do I catch up with all of this? Uh, so it's a good job. It's just that for me, what can be done more in terms of, I'm thinking from my country's perspective, is that I wish more fusion dancers worked on the roots of it, right? And then further also explore the boundaries that they can stretch beyond that is already there, right? Like it's two-way thing. Like you can't go ahead without going back. Uh,
Mm.
so I wish more of that happened here because then you can take so much more from here and give so much more ahead. Um, and that's what I wish for it to happen. And I will do all that I can to to uh, make that happen. And I hope it flourishes all the more for me also to thrive and keep doing more in the country, and especially coming from the rich culture of this place. I want to also see pathways where I could see that in and then further give it out. I'm seeing some, it's like you see small window and then the window further expands and then it becomes a door and then there's no more walls and doors. It's just one beautiful big space. I think I'm in that journey. And I'm still in that journey. So I hope for that also to happen more. So I'll see how all this will propel in the future in. And yeah, I'm excited. Oh my God. Thank you for helping me put all this in words, because you're thinking about this individually in your brain. But when you're putting together in words and explaining it, it makes so much sense. Like there's so much purpose and so
Yeah.
much to look forward to.
It's like a shared journaling experience.
Yes, absolutely. Right? I am sure you were resonating with all that I said. And like I can see you do that at your space, and I can see you also work with so many of those things. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. You touched so many beautiful points. And I love what you said that when you were traveling abroad, you were like, oh, I don't know. But then you felt home wherever you went. And this is what I love about the idea of community worldwide, right? We have this beautiful worldwide community, and you can feel that you are home wherever you go. So that is
Absolutely.
so, so beautiful.
Glad.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, Nivita. Sorry, I'm still, I
No,
have
no,
this attitude of calling you Niveta, but it's actually Nivita.
no, that's fine.
So,
That's absolutely fine. I'm used to different pronunciations by now, so it's okay.
yeah, me too. I've been called all the way like from Lamia to Lumia to Lamia to everything, everything around. So I'm just, okay, you just choose. It's okay. But
It's fine.
anyways, thank you so much for bringing your perspective and to share your journey. And also this beautiful idea of what you can give. This is so, so crucial, I think. And when you like starting from the very top of our conversation, the coming full circle, right? Again, so you take all this inspiration, then you are, how can I give it back so that the energy can flow? And this is so beautiful. So I really hope that you can bring this energy, this new energy into your community, and experience this widening of this door into what will happen, which we don't know,
Yes,
but it will be beautiful, definitely.
absolutely. Yeah, all the more beautiful for sure. Uh, because now I can see even cultures creeping in and showcasing so much about like each of the global culture, each of the global styles kind of coming, seeping into this form, and it's just mind blowing. I'm like sometimes I can't speak about it. I can only experience this. God, give me more words, right? It's the most fulfilling and beautiful feeling on the earth. Absolutely. Yeah. And thank you. A big shout out again. Like I said, to be always moving and expressing is one part, which is great. But to sit down and assimilate and think and put it in words, what you feel inside as a dancer is as crucial as well. And and shared conversations like this, it just makes you feel all the more it puts you it puts in a very nice space inside, right? So I'm so glad you're doing this. uh, you've put a platform out there for us all to come together, speak about each of our journey, and doing all that you're doing and still making time for this, and you're giving back to the community through this. I'm more power to you and more strength to you, and thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Thank you so much. Yes, it's totally this idea of giving back, right? Creating the space. So I'm so inspired to do that. So, Nimita, thank you again. And I hope I can meet you in your skin and flesh, in the real world, as we said, as soon as possible. It would be lovely to hug you again and send you and your community big hugs and love.
you so much. Thank you. We shall meet soon.
Yeah.
And we will catch up more post this interview. Thank you for having me, and I will see you soon. And thank you all whoever is watching for being here with us and watching us share this beautiful journey with you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching this video and sharing this conversation with us. If you loved this interview and would love to see more, please send this video to a dance friend and subscribe to my channel, because every week I will be sharing more videos, tutorials, and inspiration for your Fusion Belly Dance journey. Thank you again, and I'll see you next week.